We also today want to recognize a military veteran family. Families are just as important to the veteran as anything else. Your shoes, your boots, your weapons, your meals, and your family. And this year's family, we thought about this long and hard, the best way to tell you about this family, but honestly, we're going to ask Representative Ty Burns to come up and speak on this, for he can tell the story and the veteran story like no one else can. Representative Burns, will you please join us?
Thank you, Scott. I just want to thank the Paralyzed Veterans of America for putting this on. Scott and Pete, awesome job. And the honor it is to do this presentation. I also want to thank, on behalf of the Lehan family, my military family, Representative McBride, who this year got the bridge named Enmore after Lieutenant Lehan. I also like to thank my brothers who stood beside me, who I asked to come up to make sure. I've practiced this speech for years, and I've cried at the end every time. And it's always good to have battle buddies, even if they cry when they get their award. I'll take it, right? Thank you, guys. Thank you. But today I stand in front of you to tell you a story I vowed almost 8 years ago that I would never let die. A story of a father, a son, a friend, a leader, a soulmate, and more importantly, a United States soldier. A soldier who died to give an Afghan kid just a little taste of what we indulge every day as an American. Something we indulge so much that it becomes tasteless, and that's freedom. Lieutenant Damon Lehan was killed in action August 14, 2011 in Laghman Province, Afghanistan. And of the 14 Oklahoman soldiers that we lost during our deployment in 2011 and 12, Lieutenant Lehan was the closest to me, tied to me by more than just a friendship, because he was killed on my mission. A mission that my platoon was given, but was passed on to Lieutenant Lehan and his platoon sergeant, Sergeant First Class Wolf, so my platoon could rest and refit for the long missions we just got home from. In the crowd today, I'd like to recognize Sergeant First Class Wolf. Thank you for coming. But ever since that day, I've made it my mission that Damon would never be forgotten. But I'm not here today to tell you a story about me or even Lieutenant Lehan himself, because soldiers were made to die. We sign up to die. A matter of fact, that is what makes us and separates us from an average citizen. We're willing to die for somebody we don't even know, somebody we've never even met, yet we'll die for them. But today the story is about Lieutenant Lehan's family, a family who has heard the knock, a knock that every soldier's family fears more than anything in the world while you got a deployed soldier. The knock that tells you that your loved one has been killed in action. You see, above every and all soldier is their family. The amount of stress and sacrifice that these families endure is unimaginable. I have shown Damon and his family's A Soldier's True Love story that a local news group did over his death. I show it every Veterans Day in my classroom for the past 6 years. And I've cried every time. But I've never cried for Damon. I've cried for his widow and his 2 children. They no longer have a husband and a father, and the sacrifices and the pain they feel daily. Unfortunately, today, the Lehan family can't be here today, because if they haven't endured enough, right now Audrey is watching this live from a hospital bed because she's battling her own issues now and probably gonna have to go into surgery again. I talked to her yesterday at length, and she told me, crying and sobbing still, 8 years later, almost 8 years later, that the pain is so real every day that she'll never get over it. And she also knew and wanted me to say that she thought about him every day, but she knew she had to be strong because of their children that need a mama bear to take care of them. And they are all she has left of Lieutenant Lehan. So today I want to recognize Lieutenant Lehan's widow, Audrey, and their 2 children, Emma and Ethan, who are watching live right now. And I'm very honored to announce the Oklahoma Veteran Family of the Year, the Lehan family. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you all so much. One thing, I'm accepting everything on behalf of the Lehan family, and I hope as soon as Audrey gets out of the hospital, gets everything in shape, I will bring her on this floor and we will recognize her in person. But at this time, if the clerk could read the citation from the governor.
Whereas American citizens live in freedom because of the offerings and sacrifices made by those who have served and are currently serving in our armed services. Whereas First Lieutenant Damon Lehan was assigned to 1st Battalion, 179th Infantry Regiment, and 45th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, he served our nation honorably. And whereas First Lieutenant Lehan was killed in action on August 14, 2011 in Laghman Province, Afghanistan. Damon served as an NCO for 8 years before commissioning as officer in 2007. And whereas First Lieutenant Lehan is survived by his wife, Audrey, and their 2 beautiful children, Emma and Ethan. And whereas First Lieutenant Lehan was awarded the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star for his service. And whereas we pay tribute today to the family of First Lieutenant Damon Lehan and remember with honor the soldier who was also a son, brother, husband, father, and friend who was tragically lost in battle, and we recognize the remarkable spirit of the Lehan family who share his ultimate sacrifice, yet carry on with pride and courage despite their heartbreaking loss. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Stitt, Governor, do hereby declare March 27, 2019 as Oklahoma Veteran Family of the Year, First Lieutenant Damon Lehan Day in the state of Oklahoma.